Latoya Design Co. presents real people, real stories, your inspiration. You're watching Raven Maven. Welcome back to another season of, season 3 of the Raven Maven. I have Stefon Miller here with me, and I'm your host, and with the mostest, with the mostest, Toya. And I guess we should just get started. So please tell the audience or tell the viewers about yourself.
Hi, I'm Stefon Miller. I'm actually a photographer and a designer. So also work at Heston's. It's a brand. And we're going to get into that.
Yeah.
Pleasure. Well, it's my pleasure to be here. Yeah.
So Stefon, let's talk about you're a photographer and designer. Men's or do you do primarily men's? So can we talk about just how you got started with photography and what led you into like men's fashion design?
So my actual process of that whole thing started with being a producer, similar to like MPC, drum machine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy, just a twist on how that led into me doing clothes. So met someone, met someone and they were in the graphic design field.
Okay.
And they helped launch Coca-Cola in Atrium.
Oh, wow.
So yes.
That was a collab?
Well, it was done through like them getting licensing from Coca-Cola.
Oh, wow.
So they actually did Tyson Bedford. It was an amazing teamwork.
Yeah.
It was all black owned too.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing, and they lived right up the block from me, 3 houses, and so as I was doing, I wanted to do like the music, just like tell, hey, so he's like, yo, your beats are cool, but they're not like there yet. So I was like, okay, whatever. Everyone takes it hard.
Right.
That was me. Let me show them. Right? But they were so cool that they just kept always checking in on me because they said, you have great style. Like,
right.
Would you want to work with us? So learning the process of how they were going to China and doing all the tech packs and everything of that sort.
What is that exactly?
So tech packs are basically what you do when you want to create a mock or give someone like in-depth detail. What kind of stitch, how much you need to cut from the pants, or what kind of length the pants could be. These are things that you have to like grasp, like just throughout the process, just eventually. But
this is for cut and sew.
Yeah, for cut and sew.
Okay.
So I skipped major steps because I knew the right people, but I still had to be humble. So I started off with doing iron-ons, like how everyone's doing heat press.
Right.
Started off selling heat press shirts. Made a lot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, made a lot. Like at that time, I was doing Biggie on shirts and Tupac, iron on, and it was just booming.
Wow.
And even did custom work for people. I wish I still did it now that it's like become a big industry.
It's bigger, yeah. It is a big industry. We're talking about that, the t-shirt industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's ground zero. There's so much beneficial to understanding the customer. Started with the issues of, hey, this was printed wrong, having to redo it. And then moving on to meeting a guy named Brian. He worked with a company called Lamar and Dolly. So they also did stuff with Kid Robot.
Okay, I know Kid Robot.
So just to give you like a little insight, met him at Adidas. It was an Adidas event. This is when Adidas around the corner from Apple. We met, and I said, Brian, hey man, I love you. I just love your work. He was like, hey, I was telling him about my print issues. I'm trying to find a great printer. Just throws me the best printer in NYC, just like that.
Wow.
He said, yeah, give him a call and tell him I sent you.
Wow.
But I was like, you sure? Like, yeah. Tell Rich I sent you.
Right.
And that's how I moved forward with everyone that I ever met from that day.
Right.
Because he didn't know me from a hole in the wall. I literally approached him because I knew who he was.
Right.
And I knew what he was doing, his work, because I purchased Lamar and Dolly stuff. I've purchased tons of their stuff.
Yeah.
So after that, finally got to the big leagues. Printing cost a lot. And just kept going from there, and then approaching stores like Vinny's, Vinny Styles. I approached a store called Pieces, Pulse. Used to be a store in Kings Plaza. Also had a store.
So these are like boutiques and streetwear, like
exactly.
Your Jimmy Jazz's and even finer store, yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy Jazz's and D's, all of those boutiques, because these are the places where to me where I wanted to be at.
Right. And the grassroots too, because like that's where that culture shops at. You know, our people. We shop in these places. Yeah.
Iceberg Slim. JC.
Iceberg. Yeah.
You know, like this is the actual beginning of.
Right.
You know, hey, I wanted the same things. I bought the same things. So why not want to be in those stores?
Right.
You know, and that's my ground start. So the brand was called Soul Star Universe, and that was around 15, 16 when I started the brand. So.
You were age 15, 16 when you started it.
Just in high school. So that whole production thing, buying the MPC 2000 XL, buying a MacBook Pro, like literally I hustled because coming from Guyana, like a MacBook Pro is 12. It was a 12-inch. People didn't even know they had a 12-inch MacBook Pro at that time.
Yeah, they did back then.
Yeah.
But I think we were in college. Well, yeah.
Yeah. So I hustled that up, like literally, like. Sold all the Iceberg or Coogee stuff I had.
Wow.
I was like, hey, I don't care. Just give me something because this Mac is what I need to make the production work.
Right.
Every little bit of information that I got on what equipment that I needed, I went to actually get that equipment. If I did the research, and there was no internet research, it was like literally like...
You went out on the street and got the information?
Yeah, there's no like Google, tell me what's the best machine. No, like just like Brian, I met people, had conversations with them, and they say, I think you should use a Korg, and I was like, no, I like the Yamaha Motif better as a keyboard. All of these equipment that I wasted money on, I would say sometimes, because I didn't really follow through with that, but it helped me along with what I needed to close. It actually got me to the point I needed to be at.
I can see the connection with that because I would say nowadays it's definitely less people, kind of like what's going on with the reselling of like Supreme and people who like started early in that culture. Like people, when they wanted to get like certain sneakers, they went to they went out of their state, they went and took a bus, they did whatever they could do to find the things that you couldn't get, or they were only released in certain regions and whatnot. And they would seek and really actually go outside and look for the information. So what I really like about your story so far is that you were one of those type of people. You didn't go on the internet, which it wasn't really, not that it wasn't a source, but like you really just went and really found people to like help you get the information that you needed. So I think that's really cool because nowadays everybody just on a computer.
There's a lot of DMing going on. It's hard to actually like touch base with people and have people like really see who you are as a person.
Right.
I guess having that conversation with someone initially could give them like, wow, he reminds me of myself.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can do that via DM. I mean, you can write something really great, but they still have to read it.
Yeah.
So you have to get past that barrier.
People are losing, that barrier. It's a great tool, but it's people are losing the ability to speak to each other and communicate, and it's very important, and especially when you want to network and you want to learn from other people. It's still always better. Like, I hit you through the DM, but like now I have you here and we're talking, and like it's great because I'm not gonna have the same experience, and the audience not gonna get to have that experience without actually being here and being part of this moment.
Exactly. With that being said, it's important for everyone. Check your DMs. Don't dismiss the creatives. Like, make sure that you get in and actually see what they're offering before you say,
say no.
Like, see what possibilities hold, because if you think about it, not everyone's going to be grand. I think the perception of being all the way there before you're there is kind of like a big gap, and not everyone is lucky to do that perception and and actually make it in the end. And for each its own, of course. I cannot tell people what to do, but I definitely love to like be ground zero. I think you gain a lot more experience.
Right.
And when you make a mistake, you learn from that mistake instead of, I've never experienced no.
Right.
Someone just told me no, oh my God.
Yeah.
You want to no is respect no like you respect yes.
Right.
Because that no can make you a better person in some way. I've been told no many times, and it's helped me as a person.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really good to know, and I like your perspective on that as well, because just for me, like when I'm doing Raven Maven the show, and I've reached out to people who are like really, really successful, and you've probably seen them on bigger shows, and if they don't respond, it's all good, because somebody's gonna say yes eventually. That's how I look at it. So just keep pushing, right?
Yep. And also, no, don't ever turn down when you're big too.
Right.
Just do it because it's also something that people don't understand. It's about you have to be at a level sometimes to get the respect, and if it takes you getting there, don't shun something because you have animosity, because you should be working for it to become bigger now.
Right.
That and don't, because if there's people that I've printed shirts with told me no in the beginning.
Yeah.
And they're doing great work for me now.
Wow.
Because they actually see and they went into stores and people talk about the brand, or have done stuff with other people that's talked about me. Like, oh, well, what? He's a great person. Maybe it takes something like that.
Right.
Yeah. People have been scorned and hurt before.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah. So, what would you say are some of your creative influences when you're getting into your photography and actually working on stuff for your line?
So it's like a two basically it's two components to it, right? It's about me,
Mm-hmm.
and it's also about the way how my perception or view is of the actual end result.
Okay.
So when I visualize getting into my creative mode and actually thinking about, how would I want to be perceived at when I'm actually putting on this garment? How should it fall? And a few months of understanding draping, like touching fabrics, that would change your whole your whole perception of how things are made.
Right.
Because if you got something stiff and you wanted it to be flowy, which women will know, but men won't know.
Right.
There's a different kind of t-shirt material you would need for that. Might be 100% cotton. You might not have to get 100% cotton. You might have to get a 50-50. All of these things are what we go through as creatives. So that process, to bring it back to the whole thing, it really has to do with me picturing everything how I want it to be laid out from the beginning to end. It's like a business plan in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a business plan in my mind.
Do you feel especially when you started doing that, was it like a really big learning gap, or did you have to go through a lot of rounds and edits to figure that out, or the best approach to doing it?
Great question.
Yeah.
And so with editing, the photography part was always difficult. There's so much you can do that, like my mom said, there's more than one ways to skin a cat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hurt cats, but just me as a West Indian, understanding that phrase. Photoshop and also Lightroom.
Right.
You can get the same results dozens of different ways.
Right.
So it's super complicated to even figure out what's your style.
Yeah.
But you have to spend long hours, and then when you could coin what makes your time management good,
yeah,
and what makes your work look good,
right.
You've met that point.
Yeah. That's where the magic is, because it's like you figured out your process, and then once I feel like for me, process is so important, because if you have a process that works for you, then it makes just getting the end result more attainable and easier for you. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So speaking about Communion, and which is the clothing line that you put out, and you're also still doing photography. I know you're at Hastings, which is a luxury mattress company.
Yes.
So have you been able? I know you're in sales, but how have you been able to tie, I guess, your passion, your creative passion, with what you're doing currently? Or has that aligned, or it's completely separate?
It's a work in progress. It's just the fact that it's a great company,
Mm-hmm.
and it does require more of you hands-on with clients. You have to deal with clients, primarily measurements, everything. What we do in clothing, you have to take that aspect, and also business. Us as sales representatives for Hastings, you have to become your own business when you work there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So primarily what we do is outreach. We do events. We have to plan our events. We have to also engage with clients, make them understand what's the difference in between our mattress and maybe any competitors. I won't mention competitors.
Yeah.
But you have to make sure you understand the knowledge, and then you have to understand the spine. There's so much things that they make us do, but it's beneficial for everyone. Trust me, after you grasp the information, you probably don't want to buy a certain mattress ever again.
Oh, wow.
Because it's just like, I didn't understand.
It's an education almost. Yeah.
So we do the same thing for the clients. And tying that in is with the events. So I tied it in because events can be done at great house listings, wine companies. So we can literally place a bed in a vineyard, right? And have a wine tasting, have people try this bed out. We could go to a financial conference and place a bet, because everyone needs sleep. Sleep is what you're gonna do for half of your life, or probably more sometimes, depending on who you are, is required about how fast you can go to sleep.
Unless you're like us, we're busy, we don't sleep a lot.
Yeah, but you do want to sleep good when you do sleep.
Right.
Yeah, and you don't want to have that tossing and turning, and this is what we try to make people understand about buying a mattress. It's a lifetime investment. You shouldn't be buying a mattress every 7 years. Buy it once, it should last you forever.
Right.
25 years warranty. I'm pitching it like but just...
We about to go buy a mattress.
But just understand that that's the kind of industry that, that helps me understand why I want to make clothes.
Right.
For that kind of aesthetic. I've always thought about how many times I've bought things that went out of style, and sometimes it can come back in style, but the duration of time, I'm letting it dwindle. I might throw it away before I let it take space in my house. Realistically, even if it came back, I have to rebuy it so I've always thought about approaching my brand as timeless. Like the pieces that I want to make, it has to be able. I would like people to think about it as you can wear this regardless of where you're going, and I do have to face the same components of everyone else in life. I do work, I do want to go out to events, and I do want to be able to take my family out and still look nice. I don't want to look like a dad just because I am a dad.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think that's right. So I think I take that and put everything in what I design. One of the best things about that is I can't always tell which fabrics I get.
Right.
But you can definitely get into that more.
Yeah.
Would you like to speak about it more?
I would like to talk about. I like the fact that you were discussing how at Hastings you learned about their brand, and the unique selling positioning for them is just the craftsmanship and the high quality of the mattress. So I like that in the sense that, do you feel like that has impacted how you look at your clothing line? And how have you added, I guess, some of those philosophies to your clothing line? Because it sounds like you're really into just the craftsmanship, the quality of the clothing, and like you said, the timelessness. How are you applying that, to your how you look at clothes in your business?
Okay. The whole thing about applying it was working in two ways.
Right.
Like again, Hastings always wants you to make the people understand the product before they purchase the product.
Right.
So no one could feel like, oh, I just want to buy a Hastings bed because everyone has one.
Yeah.
You have to know which one you should be buying.
Right.
Because you have to sleep in this bed. It's not not all of our mattresses are made exactly the same. It's different layers, and it's just made in different kind of components. It's the same materials, but the components and the way we place the springs could change the whole entire
experience.
Bed.
Yeah.
It might not be a 2000T. So moving forward, learning that.
Yeah.
I didn't get to this point yet in the actual business of communion.
Yeah,
I feel like I have to apply that somehow. I don't know, visually, conversational, make a video, explain my process of how, what I was saying, not being able to make a fabric from scratch, because every fabric I get is actually done with an Italian fabric manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I choose to use this fabric manufacturer is they have great quality.
Mm-hmm.
It's not cheap, but they also have discontinued fabric where the fabric will never be made again, and you have 100 yards. 100 yards isn't really nothing much in making probably come out to like 30 shirts. You know,
Do
literally.
you believe in like I was reading on the business of I love BOF Business Fashion.
Yes,
That
of course.
yeah, I follow them on Instagram. They always have really good content. Yeah, they're freaking awesome. Shout out to BOF because they just have like so much. They're really good at resource. They were talking about sustainability, about designers who are really like using stuff that's fabric that's been thrown away and reusing it. So, but then they were talking about like how expensive it is because it's like not as easy. I guess they're trying to figure out a way to make it more easy to do.
Yeah, I can see the process. If it's a fabric that has been, you know, discontinued, or you know, it's not as easy to always get the production run.
Okay.
So that's one of the issues now.
Yeah.
When you produce something, you have to at least produce a quantity that makes sense.
Right, because then you could be wasted. It's the same with print production. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the printer's like, well, I can't. I'm running game prints because that's gonna be more affordable for us to run this machine. Right.
So you got that knowledge.
I get that. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
And I can see where that comes.
The consumer doesn't know, but we know
never
on
know.
the back end because those are all part of the cost of the good. Yeah.
And this is why, you know, Hessens has helped me understand why I need to like get that word to actual social media clients. Just let them know that the product isn't just put this here. We have tons of yards of fabric. I'm only one person, and all my production is done inside New York City. New York City.
That's expensive.
But I love the fact that I'm able to control it.
Yeah.
I've been to LA. I've been where I can't control the situation. I've seen faults. I've seen issues. And it's not always, or someone else is not there to say, well, this stitch is wrong.
Yeah, you don't have someone to, like another project manager or someone there to over. It's just you overseeing everything. So I get that. Have you? How did you source in New York for anyone who's interested in? For those of us who are interested in starting our own clothing line and whatnot, like what would you advise to be like the best steps to get that going, and what information that you think is really pertinent to have before you even get started doing it, before you start like designing, because sometimes people just we're creatives, a lot of times we jump to just the creation part, but there's also steps before that.
Number one, copyright.
Mm-hmm.
First thing you want to do is make sure that whatever name you're trying to use, don't dwindle time, and then you see someone else using something similar, you feel like someone's been watching you. You're gonna feel crazy, and because you didn't take you didn't do your due diligence.
Right.
Make sure you copyright.
Right.
Number one, start off with a copyright. If the idea has come to you, you found a name, go to the copyright office immediately.
Right.
Sorry to say it like that, but you will.
And buy a domain ASAP.
Yeah. Do all the necessary steps. If you're going to be serious about that, you're going to have to do it regardless.
Yeah,
the process is not going to change. So the more time you spend saying, "Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next day," you see someone eventually having something similar, because great minds think alike. That term means something.
Right.
It means someone else is thinking the same thing you're thinking, and whoever hits that ball
Whoever
first.
does it first, yeah.
I've had it happen to me, so I want to start off with that first.
Yeah.
Now, sourcing, I would say hit the ground floor. You want to go to the fashion district,
Right.
and you want to then source little by little actual swatches. Do not take a yard because you feel like this is beautiful. No, or this is amazing. For you it's amazing. Wash it, throw all the things you have, throw it in a wash. Ask ask for the care. Like a good fabric manufacturer
they'll have that information.
Exactly.
Wow.
A lot of times people are selling you fabric and you're selling back to people that's not the fabric that you even said it was. And you don't know that because you didn't do your due diligence to figure out that point. If you're going to be selling stuff at that price point, it should be what you said it was.
Right.
And if it's not, then you should label it as is. For each its own. Once again, that's something that I can't make people do, but you should try to do it because it'll do for better business practice.
Right.
Your shirts won't shrink. You won't have people saying, "Oh, I won't buy that." Your first
Right, brand, because the quality of the clothes. Yeah, and we experienced that. Like I felt on certain brands that I used to shop with, the quality of their clothes I feel has declined, especially after certain creative directors have left.
Oh,
that happens.
Yeah.
Like when Jenna Leons left J. Crew, I felt like J. Crew's quality of their stuff had went down tremendously.
Yeah, it's like this. You know, if you have someone good, right, you should respect them.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that you have to like give them the world, but at the end of the day, like if it's working for you,
yeah,
and if they know what they're doing, and they've been doing it for you for years,
right,
try to keep them there as much as possible. If it's a creative like house like Louis Vuitton where they just interchange people,
right,
but they may keep their main components of who's actually taking care of the product management.
Yeah, the brand ambassador, or I like to say like, you know, for me, especially in when my work at Chelsea, it's like I look at myself as, or what we like to say in the art department is like we're the last gate, because we're the last gate before we put things out to the customer facing, and our job is to protect the integrity and the quality of the brand, make sure that it always is consistent and looks the same and speaks the same. And if we notice copy, we're like, well, our brand doesn't speak like this. So like, you know, I think it's important to have people who care about brand, like the brand as much as you do. Like for you, I'm pretty sure the people working with you, they care about the craftsmanship and the quality of the clothes, and how you present that to the customer is very integral, you know, and consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a great point. Packaging, also, you know, it takes someone to understand it. When you open up something,
I love that.
You know, that feeling, it shouldn't be like t-shirt to a plastic bag.
Right.
You know, or t-shirt. You should have a feeling of like, you just opened up something, wow.
Yeah.
This is why we use packaging. It's psychological.
Yes,
but it's needed. It's like, don't even stray away from it.
Yeah. It's a whole experience.
Invest.
Like that Tiffany blue box. Like all girls, like you know, like you think Tiffany, you think that blue, that certain blue, you know, like
you know what's coming.
Yeah,
you just know. You know that it's never cheap when that box hits the like baby here, like you know, like you're like, you know,
when you see the brown bluebies bag.
Exactly.
It's the same thing.
It goes for and that's a great point. Every single brand has invested in packaging,
right?
Because it's
what
the consumer, and then when other consumers or potential consumers see that bag, they're gonna be like, why is everyone walking around with this bag? What is this store?
Right.
You know, if they never knew about that store, they would want to know about it.
Yeah.
And tote bags have become the new thing. So you have a great tote bag. You don't just suggestion you can print. You can do silk screen. I won't give away too much, but like you can.
There's
like,
so many options.
Oh my goodness! Like you can freak a tote bag.
Yeah. There's brands that I feel like this whole sustainable and environmentally friendly thing. There's brands that have invested in that, and they make stuff like you buy their tote bag for shopping, but you reuse it. Come back with this bag, you know, which is free advertising for your business or your brand, you know.
Yeah,
I get that experience with Anthropologie has a few stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love Anthropologie.
Yeah. Well, my girl loves Anthropologie. And, that is a given. And you use those same tote bags for grocery shopping.
Exactly.
And they save you 50 cents on every single time you go to Trader Joe's, and I think also 50 cents on when you go to Whole Foods.
Mm.
So because you're leaving with a Whole Foods bag, it's not like they added money on. They're going to take money off of the bill.
Right.
Because you've done that. And then I think also Trader Joe's gives you a raffle ticket or something every time you bring your bag, and then they spin it around once a month, and they like tell you and I give you an amount of money to shop with.
Oh wow!
It's a lot of things that people don't know that comes from being sustainable. They're actually trying to make people not use so many paper bags or plastic bags.
Yeah. This is going to end up in the ocean and in landfill. Yeah.
Plastic is worse, but I mean, you don't necessarily need a paper bag if you have a tote bag that can be rewashed, reused for like at least 10 years or maybe even 5 years.
Yeah.
Just get a new
one.
And
it's, I guess too, like, you know, New York is, because like most people still are using that stuff, but you go to like a place like Maryland and you can't, like, you could buy plastic bag, but like you're going to have to buy it.
I like that.
Yeah, I like it, and I do hope New York at some point makes that part of the law, because it would be better for everybody. I like going with my own bags. I don't know. It's easier.
Well, who's our senator right now? I forgot his name.
For the state.
Yeah, for the state.
Schumer.
Yeah, is it Chuck Schumer?
Yeah.
So Chuck Schumer, instead of raising tolls to the Brooklyn Bridge, I think you make more money. You
get
way
that
more
bag
money.
game up.
If you charge people 50 cents, a lot more people go grocery shopping than driving.
Facts. It's true.
So I
don't know. I know you talked about your wife and making Style Stepper, which is like your blog and another creative output for you. How have you balanced your work and family, and now you also try to incorporate them as part of it? Like, how does that work for you?
Okay. So my family's become my main subject in my photography.
Uh-huh.
That's how I balance it. It actually helps me be more creative.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I purchase a new camera, it's basically to use on my family now, and it's becoming more of Style Stepper should be a family brand. So I'm actually working on posting content
and rebranding.
Exactly, and I will still post things that involve other creatives,
mm-hmm.
which is easy. It's not like
yeah.
something you can't do both, because I'll be with my family more than I'll be with other creatives.
Or you could do creatives that also, most creatives have family. I'm creative, I have family.
That's
you put me on Style Stepper.
I think we just signed a contract over it, campus. I would love to.
Yeah, it would be cool. Yeah, because I think that's a really good idea.
And you're a graphic designer?
Yeah.
So it's a melting of two things that people need to understand. A graphic design is so big in the Black community now.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love it.
Yeah.
That's why I want to see more photographers, illustrators. That's why I do Raven Maven, so that they can see that you can be a fashion designer and you can be a photographer. You can do a lot of different things. It doesn't have to be one thing. It's just about, finding what brings you joy and pursuing it and coming up with your own projects and pursuing it. Raven Maven is a project that I came up with my co-producer Aya, and I'm really happy to do this to show that that we're here and that there are people that look like us doing these things. Yes, you could be a photographer. Yes, you could be a stylist. Yes, you could be an art director at a big firm. So it's possible.
Yeah. It's removing the curtain of actually thinking it's not possible,
right?
And letting them see someone's behind that curtain that looks just like you.
Because you're here.
Yeah.
Right.
Living proof.
Right.
It's never going to be easy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's worth it in the long run.
Yeah.
And you're going to have so much respect at the end of, not the end, or when you get that recognition for what you've been doing, and it's going to be something where you're going to love, and you're going to be wow, if I had quit, I would have never been at this position.
Right.
In or at my life.
Right.
Think about it as that form when you think about not doing it anymore because it's been stressful.
When I started, Cameraman and I went to the same college, and we graduated in 2008 during the financial crisis. And a lot of my peers that I graduated with, they went back to school and decided to do other stuff, but he's freelance full time, but I stuck it out because I was like, I am not doing anything else because this is what I want to do.
Oh my! Financial crisis was
a
nightmare.
Yeah.
It was
good. It created blogging. That was why blogging started, because people couldn't get work.
Ugh.
It was really bad for writers, artists, even just people with regular, boring jobs. I have a cool job.
Yeah, things align as such as it's supposed to.
Right.
Things are meant to happen.
Yeah.
To actually have this era that we're having. This is unprecedented.
It feels like a renaissance. Yeah.
It's the Da Vinci era. That's how the internet has made everyone connect.
Yeah.
I've just went to a West Indian party where I've seen all races.
Yeah.
And guess where this West Indian party was?
Where?
Canal Street.
Ah, shut up.
I swear, above a jewelry shop.
Wow.
I literally took a photo of it.
Canal Street?
Canal Street. And
by Stadium?
No, it's right there by the Manhattan Bridge. So where you come off the Manhattan Bridge, it's probably 2 blocks down.
Okay.
Yeah. So as I'm leaving it, I'm not really taking this in as I'm supposed to, because it's
The world is changing.
Soca,
Yeah.
I'm talking about people dancing and they're playing all the mass videos, like the soca mass in Trinidad and everything like that, on the TV all around
the place.
Yeah, we have DJ Young Chow was
I love
there.
it. Yeah, shout out to DJ Young Chow.
Definitely. Knew him for a long time. I actually did promote for the ARC. This was like years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm kind of like up there in age.
You've been everywhere.
and everything I learned is because I've been trying to build a brand.
Right.
So the same concept applies. Like you have to be able to, and that's what promotion is. Like getting out there. There was no internet that big.
Yeah.
To make, so doing parties, selling your shirts at parties.
Wow.
That's a great concept. It's still a great concept.
Right. It still works.
It still works. It's what people call right now. It's like what Travis Scott, Kanye West.
Everybody's doing it, and it's just called generating passive income and extending your brand to merch and everything.
Merch, exactly.
Merch, yeah. But it's nothing new. Like rock bands been doing that for years.
This is why we have so much Nirvana shirts.
Yes.
We have so much.
And Rolling Stone shirts.
You could go to thrift shop.
Old Navy.
Yeah. Old Navy, or even the thrift shops and find originals, or even like a copy of an original, because people were bootlegging those. That was a big industry.
Yeah,
like,
it was a big business. Yeah.
People waiting outside of stadiums with their trucks selling stuff that was illegal.
Yeah. So, back to you getting into your creativity and meeting people and whatnot. Did you feel like when you started, was it difficult for you? Did you see representation? Did you feel like it was hard for you being black and you wanted to do photography and do especially fashion? I know Kanye's always complaining about the industry. So was it really difficult for you? Did you see other people that looked like you or felt like you could confide in anyone to give you advice and whatnot?
Things work in mysterious ways. As I was going over everything I was going to say at this whole interview. Yeah. Kanye was like, you know what? I'm not going to mention it, but Kanye's right. Yeah. I think when people said he was ranting in the beginning, his first rant about all these names and all these things that people didn't understand about who owned the top fashion houses.
They don't know the business.
They didn't know the business, and it became a joke. Like a running joke, which was it was cool, Kanye's ranting and all these things. But I can be like a living testament to say it's happened to me. I've been overcharged because I was black. When I've had, a friend that's Asian that was not charged at the same cut and sew manufacturer, he was charged less. Is it because they were Asian too, the manufacturers? I know, sometimes when you go to China and you're trying to source things, I know that the Chinese, it's almost like if you speak Chinese, you might be able to get a better. At least you try to learn the language. But they were based in Brooklyn,
right?
So they weren't based in.
So
China.
It wasn't that.
So I don't really know what primarily it was about.
Yeah.
Even with patterns, I had to go so hard to find people to do my pattern for a decent price. Patterns they were.
How do what would you say would be the normal price point, or for New York City?
It's okay. Let's start off with ground zero. T-shirts.
Yeah.
Right? T-shirts is like the blanks of everyone's creativity in the beginning. I don't know if everyone, 90% of people, because it takes money to do the whole fabric and patterns. Yeah. So if you want to do a kind of T-shirt, I think about $75 to $150 is decent. Don't let anyone tell you $500 what they have told me before for doing a T-shirt pattern. This was maybe 2009, 2010. I was getting told that, and then getting told another $5 just to make the first sample. And then the production would have to be at least 300 pieces. At that point, I was like, the numbers, you see how your face was? Yeah,
because you're like, where's the profit?
Yeah. I have not even begun to sell the shirt. Right. And I just didn't find that was right. So I took my talents to LA for a little while. And LA, you have a better, so what's really happening is you have people that's, people may call immigrants. They do beautiful work. Right. Right? They should get paid very well for it. Right. And LA is one of the places where they are they're primarily at. You know, my grandmother knew how to sew. You know, she's not here, so I didn't have that opportunity for someone to make my patterns.
Right.
But when I went to LA, patterns were $75. You know, I was giving them long sleeve shirt patterns, not short sleeve T-shirts. And when it came to a jacket, $250.
Okay.
Not $1,000. And I'm talking, this was an intricate jacket, layering, inner pocket,
Wow.
zips on the outside, $250.
Wow.
And I said, how much for you to do my sample then? They were like, $200. You know, like it's like they're trying to figure it out. They're just throwing numbers at me, and I'm just like,
okay,
yes. You sure it's gonna be done on time? Yeah. So I call. What you should always do: keep calling the production people that's making your stuff.
Right.
Make sure that they're on top of things.
Their schedule.
Exactly, because you know why they're doing so many people's whole production, and whoever is the biggest production takes prevalence. And that means that you can also get pushed back a week or two.
Right.
And if you have a drop date, you're going to be messed up. If you have a drop date and you have factors, or you have, this is for people that actually are part of the actual working field right now. I'm speaking to you. If you have a drop date or a drop ship, and you need to get this product in stores and actually get the product before the net 30 or your supposed time, before they say, okay, we don't want this product anymore,
right? Because
you didn't send it to us and summer's about to be ending.
Yeah.
You don't want that problem, so you have to be annoying. Literally, I call my pattern lady like at least 3 times a week.
She's tired of talking to you.
I'm like, Gloria, how are we doing? Because Gloria has a tendency, I love her. She's so sweet.
Yeah.
But she works so many different. She's like, she doesn't even take customers. Every time I've ever found someone great, they don't take no more people. And it's like, and I try to send people to them just because, like I said in the beginning, someone's done it for me. So I kind of tend to I can't even give it because they're mad at me. They're like, oh, I can't do it. Why would you tell?
Aww.
It's like this is a friend. I give, and then they take one more person, and then and the next person, I can't really do it.
Can't connect them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's to find a good person that's gonna do something for you on time and do it right in New York. It's like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
It's literally like if you want.
And that's for everything. I don't know what's going on. People have businesses and you gotta chase them to give them money. I don't understand it.
Chasing them, money's not green. Like money isn't valued. Seriously, it's kind of like so. I don't want to get too much off topic.
I get it though.
I'm upset at New York. I love New York. That's why I'm still here, and this is why I choose to do my production here. But it gave me a run.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely gave me a run.
Do you feel like you said, you refer people who want to do what you're doing? How have you felt like you benefited from that? That in a way, giving back.
My soul has. My inner. So I've seen people rise to heights,
That's great.
That I've gave. Hey, I had copies of Photoshop. Here you go.
Back when we used to get it on the BitTorrents.
Yeah, you just no more. That's finished, finito. I just want to make that clear. Photoshop, Illustrator, Adobe.
We're not sure if Photoshop
no more. I was young. I was like 14. I got it, and I was like, someone asked me for it. Here you go. Oh, you don't have it? Here.
That was everybody.
Yeah, and then they were grateful, but that their face lit up. Like you gave them something that they were seeking, and they seen $1,000. The price was so high, and you just said, "Here."
I hooked it with Microsoft Word, I think.
So that was amazing. Someone did that for me, when you get treated the right way.
Yeah.
It someone treating you bad. You can see certain people's upbringing and things that happen to them change them as human beings.
Yeah.
And it becomes they're more guarded, they're more defensive. If you gave someone a contact and they have not given you back a contact, don't really be mad at that person. I would actually say, because if you think about it, when you could get to that point where you have your great contacts and they need it, eventually what your whole end game is to make your product not need to be able to have to worry if someone else is making something good.
Right.
Your product should stand alone.
Yeah.
This product is good, it's great, you don't have to worry about any competitors because the product you're making will sell itself eventually, and then years from now, even if you sell 100 shirts a year,
yeah,
and then you become an aesthetic staple piece in the game because everyone knows your shirts eventually because it's going 100 shirts or maybe even 400 shirts a year. Don't take it as like, wow, I'm not doing 5,000, 20,000. Eventually, you'll become more of a niche staple piece that's valued more.
Right.
Your shirts are going to be like, oh, or your...
Kind of like when Supreme drops, they do certain drops and it's like...
So...
Yeah, people are like, wait, it's ridiculous.
and this was going on for years.
For years, like, because I was like, now they're doing documentaries about this, but this was happening in 2008. Like,
lines.
Yeah.
And that's a skate, like, originally
skateboard brand. Yeah.
They were the original lineup gang.
Yeah.
They were, and now Jordans has become... I've seen people, like, 34 Street Foot Locker.
Yeah.
I was one of the people that would go early. I would wake up, set my alarm clock, and if it was a specific J's that I wanted, I would get up early for it. And if I didn't want it, I'm like,
I'm not doing it.
But if
I'm a line snob, so I wasn't doing any of that.
Wow.
I hate lines. Like,
it wasn't as massive as what it is today.
Today,
10 people early.
Yeah.
And you all walk in and people
I'm the type to pay somebody to stand on line for me.
I would suggest, I mean, at different ages, at different levels, if it's a marketing and money making thing for you, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a business. If you're a reseller, then that's that's a whole different conversation.
Whole different, If you're using bots, wherever it is now, it's a whole different mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but, where do you feel like what are your plans or where do you want to go now that I know you're gonna revamp Style Stepper and like what are your plans for your future like with tying your love for fashion and then also your love for photography. Because for me, they go hand in hand. It's kind of like you don't even have to really separate them,
The brand actually became a photographer.
Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't even get to touch on that point, but I definitely wanted to say that. Shooting for my own brand was the reason. I bought the camera back in 2008, right? So primarily it was a Canon G something, G2 something like it was like a great digital. At that time, 11 and 12 megapixels was something unheard of.
Yeah.
I can't even begin to think about it. I didn't know anything about medium format, so don't even people that know this
when
stuff
you
now.
say, do you shoot raw? People look like, you're not a photographer.
Trust me, I made it work.
Yeah.
I was taking people like, hey, throw on this shirt. Like people that I knew that had great style.
Right.
And that's part of the reason. So every time I have to put on MySpace, I don't even know what. Like I'm trying to gauge all the years, but this was around MySpace.
Time, yeah.
So it was called Soul Star Universe. I was the one that did the actual Urkel shirts that said MIA on top, and had Steve Urkel face.
Oh
right there.
Wow!
It was. I sold tons at Vinny's. Vinny's actually bought out my whole stock, and I remember the first time I approached Vinny's. I had a Bob Marley shirt that I worked on because I was like, I'm West Indian.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I love Bob Marley. I just love the whole his whole life. I was just like Marvin Gaye. How some people love Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
And the whole story of the tragedy.
Yeah.
Bob Marley was that for me in the beginning.
Yeah.
Of my young years, just engulfed with Bob Marley's music. And so I made a Bob Marley shirt. I approached Vinny's. They was like, nah. Right. I approached Pulse. Pulse NYC. They used to be in Kings Plaza, Green Acres. They had tons of locations. And they also were located on Broadway, Soho.
Okay.
Yeah. Pulse NYC. It's a classic store. They don't exist anymore.
Right.
Pulse said yes. Vinny said no. Vinny's is where I wanted to be.
Right.
Yeah, Vinny said no. I approached Pieces of Brooklyn. It used to be on Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
It was a really it was a
boutique.
It was a black-owned boutique owned by Colin Darren and Letitia Darren. She does stuff for Bloomingdale's and Barney's now primarily. They had another boutique in Philly, so that's when I first had like a really good connection. Colin said, "How about you just work for us and do some graphic designs for us?"
Oh wow!
I was still in like I was actually leaving high school.
Yeah.
I'm like, Colin, I'm gonna take you up on that opportunity.
Yeah.
And he helped me understand a lot about. So every step has been part, of me getting help from someone.
Yeah.
It's hard to sit and say I'm self-made without actually saying those people who has given their time, knowledge, all of that stuff. I just want to always make that give respect.
Pay homage, guys.
Yeah, definitely give respect. So Yeah, moving forward with that, I got the Vinnies with that. The Steve Urkel shirt was my second batch.
Yeah.
Then I did like 2 more seasons. So we had summer and winter.
Yeah.
Primarily, it was so easy. It was like t-shirts, sweatshirts.
That's it.
All this other stuff that's going on now.
Too much.
You print on a sweatshirt when it's winter, right? And you print on the t-shirt when it's summer. Don't get dramatic. Like you didn't have to do much.
Yeah.
But then other brands started to step their game up. Crooks and Castles, Lamar and Dolly. And I found out.
Stussy.
Yes.
So many brands started to drop.
People even know Stussy is
the hundreds.
Stussy.
I know.
No, I want to touch on Stussy. People even know Stussy. Stussy is actually so old.
It's old, yeah.
It's older than every other brand you could think about. Do your research. Yeah. They're in a movie where someone's wearing the hat, and that I seen on HBO. It was like a movie with a clown, like it was like some scary movie with this kid riding a bicycle, and I'm like, that's a goddamn Stussy. That just like, and it took me like, I seen this movie 6 years ago, and I've seen this movie 10 times, 10 times. And I'm like, what the hell? And that's what I'm trying to get to the point at.
Timelessness, yeah.
And they're now here.
And making yourself more, and also like, that's the cool thing about fashion. Like you'll have brands like, Goyard is a brand that prides itself on not, their whole thing was about not being really in the forefront, not doing, they don't advertise. There are brands like that. And so it's like so funny to see how a brand now becomes like, it's like they have a resurgence.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, every couple, it's like certain brands, it's like I don't know, it's like a renaissance. Kind of like, and it happens usually, maybe like a designer comes in or a creative comes in, like what happened with Gucci, and they got a new creative director, and you kind of like revitalize, and then they collaborated with Dapper Dan and stuff like that.
Stuff they
should have been done. Yeah.
It just, sometimes it takes people... to actually put that component
or to
together.
see the value that our community, and I say our community, Black people, we offer so much to, we created street fashion.
I was gonna say invented.
Yeah, Black people invented street fashion. Yeah.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
We invented it because when we styled it, it was primarily for us to match, like, people buying
to match our sneakers and stuff. Yeah.
And we had that aesthetic, and then the skateboarders had their own aesthetic.
They did.
So,
but it was more bummy back in the day.
They
more
were
like real. That's how I say these are fake skateboarders. Because back in the day, real skateboarders looked like bud. Their sneakers was bust down.
toe would be hanging out of your sneaker, and that's not to say they didn't have the money.
Yeah.
But that's what they needed.
That was a culture too.
That was a culture. If you wasn't skating hard enough, if your sneaker ain't ripped.
Yeah.
That's what that meant. It was the actual meaning to that. So everything comes with time.
Yeah.
And if your process, sometimes other people's process could, their process could just take off. Don't be mad at that process. Like make sure you're refining yours, right? Because you're gonna build a stronger bridge.
Right.
Your bridge is gonna be much stronger when, their bridge might not last as long.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap up, but I wanted to ask you if you had any like final advice that you would give for upcoming creatives and anything else you wanted to share, and then you could like give us your socials.
Okay. So definitely more on getting the process out to the people. I'm a person that pays attention to a lot of details, and also I love to keep making things over and over, and it costs a lot. Like I've spent so much money redoing shirts right now for communion that I know no one really would even notice the difference. But every time I go to my production lady, I'm like, Peggy, can you make this a little more? Like, can we take an inch in? She's like, that's perfect, right? I was like, I feel like it could be, and that becomes another sample.
Right.
And she's like, you don't need to do that, we could actually do that in the cutter's must. Like, things like that you'll figure out after, like, a while. The cutter's must is when people cut the garment, they could actually just take an inch in on their own.
Okay.
Yeah, like, let's say if they wanted to just do this, some people could do it on a cutting floor.
Right.
They have a big machine. They cut blocks of fabric at one time.
Okay.
Zigzag around that. That's what the pattern is. They lay the pattern down, and then they cut around. They put stacks, and they just cut that fabric.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and then you have to know your yardage. get into knowing how many yards it takes to make one T-shirt, and then you get to understanding costs and goods. Cost of goods is very important for you to become a really big business. You want to take that initiative and get yourself more acclimated into becoming your own business, because that's what you're primarily going to be doing in the end. I know that you're going to want to be, how can I say, you're going to want the fame, right? Don't think about the fame. Think about what the process is going to take for you to get it done right, and then marketing. That's my best advice.
Thank you.
Of course, you guys are welcome.
So, where can we find you on social media?
So I have 3 main pages. I have Communion, Style Stepper. I'll send you guys all the links, and I have my personal page, which is Stefon Miller, my full name, real name, and the other photography page is by Stefon Miller. It says BY Stefon Miller. Yeah.
So you guys go follow Stefan on his platforms, and you guys should be subscribed already to us on YouTube, Raven Maven, and also on Instagram. You can find us at Raven Maven Show, or you can hit me on my personal page at Latoya on Instagram. And stay tuned, because we're gonna have more good interviews to come.
Let's do it.
Thanks.